All right, welcome to the Albert and Billy show. It's 2:06 p.m., 86 degrees outside. The time and temp is brought to you by First Farmers and Commercial Bank. Hello, Papa.
86 is much better than 96.
It sure is.
10 degrees, in fact.
10 degrees, you're right. I wish it was about 76.
Well, you can never have perfection till you reach heaven.
Well, that's
Perfection
true.
is just not here. Of course, 76 is not perfect. 72 is perfect, is it not?
Yes.
72.
I think a lot of people would say that.
72 is what you want your room temperature to be.
Yeah.
But whenever you're down at my house, you want it to be 68.
I know it.
And
yeah, 68's about perfect for me.
And in wintertime, my daddy wanted 85.
Good Lord.
Yes, we'd go down to visit.
You know what? I remember that.
You do.
I remember going down there and burning up every time.
He would be so proud. He'd say, "Boy, I've got it 85 in here." I said, "Yeah, I know, Daddy." Everybody knew it.
How could we not know? Everybody would be sweating.
Yeah.
He must have been extremely cold-natured.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I remember at home, well, of course, way back when I was a kid, all you had was a fireplace.
Yeah.
And at night back then, the only way you kept warm, your parents kept a hot iron at your feet that they got warmed up in the fire. Mm-hmm. It was just a piece of iron. And they would stick it under the cover, and then you'd have quilts between your feet and the heat, but that would warm you. And that's how they kept you warm, with fire, just nothing but a grate. We had two in the house, one for their bedroom, one for ours.
Really?
Yeah, and then later we had a warm morning stove that sat centrally in the center of the house, and he bought it from Robert Lloyd second-handed. Then later we dug a basement under the house, dug it out after we got up to be teenagers, and he bought a second-hand furnace, coal furnace, from Mr. Leland Ferguson for $75. And then we had heat distributed all through the house evenly through the ductwork of a furnace. About the time I got ready to leave home.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember when we got electricity, Daddy wired the house for electricity himself.
Did he?
He sure did.
So he wasn't as cold-natured back then, maybe, as he was when we'd go down to Georgia and see him, and it'd be 85.
Well, he was older then. Daddy lived to be 88.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Laureen, she was cold-natured too at that point, because it didn't seem to faze her either.
No. I think the electricity came in the middle 40s. I started school in 1941. And so I remember getting my lessons by lamplight, but somewhere in the middle 40s or late 40s we got electricity. And somewhere in there we got Daddy built a bathroom onto the house and put a bathroom in.
During the 40s?
Yeah, late 40s. We had middle 40s, late 40s. We had a outhouse, they called them, you know.
Yeah. The old days.
But everybody had one back then. Well, I don't know. There might have been people that had bathrooms. I never know about it.
In the 40s?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
we always had running water. We always had running water in town.
When did it go from the outhouse to bathrooms?
Well, I'd say
people?
in the 40s.
Okay.
But there might have been some rich people that went ahead and had it. I don't know.
Daddy probably so, yeah.
Daddy built the house in 1937. So
really,
it was crude. He and my grandfather had sawmills, and it was rough lumber. They cut the lumber and built the house.
Are we talking about the house down the valley?
No, this is the house where Clark and Brenda Clark's dead now. Where Brenda Trotter
I know what we're talking about. The White House right over here in town.
Right next to where James Edward and Sammy and Barbara and all them were raised. Boy, they had a large family too. There were 5 of us, and I think there were 6 or 7 of them. Barbara and James Edward and Sammy and Vivian and Joe and I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. I can't remember that. But they were our next door neighbors.
I didn't know that.
But we had neighbors before them.
Yeah, it's a big neighborhood.
No, I mean we had people in that house before they moved there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But James Humble always had a big garden.
Did he?
Oh yeah. He had a big, of course we did too. Ours was bigger than his when it came time to hoe it.
I bet. Good times, right?
Those were the good old days, they say.
The good old days, that's right. That's right.
Well, I think that's debatable.
That's debatable.
That's
okay.
debatable. I'm sure there are people that will argue with that.
I think for the most part, though, people would say yes, those were the good old days.
Well, there are aspects of it, of course. The innocence, people didn't lock their doors, people sat on the front porches. Everybody had a swing, Billy. Everybody had a front porch and a swing because people had time to sit in a swing and talk to your neighbors because no neighbor was locked up inside their house watching television or anything else for that matter, no movies.
Right.
That was what you did.
And that's good, though. That's good. You lose
Are you advocating?
touch with people.
Well, are you advocating we get rid of television?
No, I am not. But I'm advocating that we should all take more time out, though, of our days to do the simple things like that.
Some of the kids at school today, seniors, were needing a senior quote for the annual. And a couple
Already?
of them, yeah. A couple of them asked me, and I didn't. Well, I told one of them, I said, work hard and get an education, you won't be like me. But I got to thinking, the next kid that asked me, I was going to give him a good one. In life, relationships are important. Enrich your life and other people's life by being a friend.
Yeah.
I thought about that and I thought, well, that'd be a good saying, but nobody ever asked me another saying.
Maybe they'll ask you before you forget it.
Life is full of relationships. Enrich them by being a friend.
I like that.
And of course, the scripture says the best way to have friends, be friendly.
Exactly. It helps out a lot to be friendly. If you're not friendly, you're not going to have friends, are you?
That makes sense. You preach it, brother. You preach it.
That's right. That's right. All right, we'll give you some announcements, folks. Some stuff that's coming up in the next few days and weeks ahead. First off, the country breakfast, the big country breakfast at the Bledsoe County Rescue Squad is tomorrow.
All right.
It's Saturday morning from 6 to 10 a.m. You can have sausage, country ham, fried bologna, bacon, scrambled eggs, hash browns, biscuits, and gravy, plus a drink. You get all this for $6 a plate. All the proceeds do go to the Bledsoe County Rescue Squad.
Country ham. I don't buy country ham to eat.
You don't?
But boy, when I go to one of those breakfasts, I get country ham.
You make sure to get that, don't you?
Whoa.
It's good.
It makes the best gravy you ever tasted.
Country ham does?
Country ham grease. Oh my. And of course people made red-eye gravy. You wouldn't know what red-eye gravy is.
I have heard of that though.
Okay,
What is?
When you fry the country ham, the grease that's in there, instead of making flour and milk gravy, you put water and coffee. And it's greasy liquid to put over your biscuit. Red-eye gravy. That's what you call it.
I didn't know that's what it was.
I never made any red-eye gravy, but I watched Carolyn make it, and I know that's how you make it.
Maybe you need to make some.
Well, I like my gravy, but see what I do, I would make my regular gravy in the ham grease that I used, because that flavor of that country ham made the dadgum gravy taste good too.
Makes it a lot better, don't it?
Whoa.
Yeah, this little things like that make a difference with the flavor of it, don't they?
Well, see, way back yonder, Billy, I'm talking before refrigeration. Country ham was pretty standard fare because people had to, when they killed their hogs in the fall of the year, they had to salt them down. They had nowhere to keep them frozen.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So everybody
They had
had
to do something.
Everybody had salt pork to season their food with, or to slice up and fry for breakfast. And your shoulders and your hams are what you would salt down and have it to eat later on in the year. Mark Lloyd Stevens used to bring me country ham and beg me to swap it with him. He said, "I'll give you this country ham, give me one of your city hams." He was tired of old country ham.
Well, he's tired of it.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Yeah, you didn't feel sorry for him, did you?
No.
Well, let's see. Board of Education still accepting applications, Papa, for different positions. This week we've got 2 positions to talk about. First off, a special education teacher position for the Bledsoe County High School. You must have a valid Tennessee license, have a special education certification, must meet all the requirements of the NCLB, and have a copy of your resume and transcript. And you can pick up an application, of course, at the Board of Education office. And if you have any questions, you can call 447-2914. The deadline for applications is September 6th. And also hiring a cafeteria worker for Pikeville Elementary School. And once again, the deadline for applications is September the 6th. And you can pick up an application at the Board of Education office on 478 Spring Street. And if you're interested, just complete an application for employment. If you have any questions, just call 447-2914. So they've hired a lot of people lately, haven't they?
Well, we've hired a couple of new ones at the high school, and they're working out well. They're working out well.
Well, good.
We had one to transfer to the middle school from the high school, and then we had one to retire. Vicki Hale thought she was old enough to retire.
Oh, really?
Yes, she did.
So she retired.
She retired. You announced on the radio that yesterday was their 40th anniversary.
Yeah?
She and her husband Tony, they were dining out yesterday morning at McDonald's for their anniversary.
You know what? I think I seen them. I believe I seen them because Tom Roberts.
Yeah, Tom was right
was
there.
there.
Well, Tom's quit work too.
He's retiring from the phone company.
They can't do without him, can they?
It'll be hard on them. I don't know if they ever make it.
One Roberts man. Tom Roberts is not ashamed of me. Every time he sees me, he says, "There's Mr. Roberts." He acknowledges my presence in my life.
He does. He's a big fan of our show.
Yeah.
He's a big fan.
He's
big
smart.
listener.
He's smart.
Yeah, he is. I heard him say that he was retiring. I just can't remember when. He said it's soon.
He's got, well, yeah, right now. But he's got one serious drawback. Don't let anybody know that I said this, but he's a fanatic about keeping his car clean. But he got it from his daddy.
We won't tell nobody.
No, I don't want anybody to know that.
Now today is Leona's birthday.
Today's Leona's birthday. I heard you say that.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Miss Leona.
I remember when Max, my uncle, was courting her at the school. She was in high school, and he and his wife had divorced, and he was driving a coal truck, and he would stop that big old coal truck whenever she'd be out for recess or for dinner, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the girls would be sitting on the ground, and he'd come over there and talk to her. I remember that.
Really?
Yes, sir, I sure do. I remember when they courted.
So what about that?
Well, but Leona's, she's a little bit older than I am. Not many people are older than I am. Brother Jim, my wonderful pastor, he says that I'm so old that Jesus was in my Sunday school class.
Oh, really?
Sure does.
That's a good way to put it, isn't it?
I told that tale to Johnny Boynton one time back when he was in the school system. He retired too, you know.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when I get old enough to retire. But anyway, I told Johnny Boynton that one day, and Johnny said, "Will you tell your preacher that Jesus is still in your Sunday school class?" I like that better.
I do too.
Yeah. Mr. Johnny Boynton's got a head on his shoulders.
That's a good comeback.
If we ever got in a fight down at school, I wanted Johnny Boynton on my side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real good comeback on that.
We're not getting through these announcements very fast.
Well, you know, we got time. We're okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to take away time from what I want to talk about
I know, but we'll get right to it though.
today. All right.
Okay, we are back. And we were having some technical difficulties with our TV show. We're on Valley TV now, folks. You can watch the Albert and Billy Show on channel 18 on your Bledsoe telephone cable.
Watch it day and night.
So we're going to start over with the Tennessee and you were talking about the SEC and who all they were playing and stuff like that.
Right.
So let's go back to that since the TV viewers did not get to hear that part.
I have never seen as rich an offering for the football fans that follow SEC football that's coming up this weekend. Alabama plays Southern Cal. That alone would be a headliner because of Lane Kiffin.
I know.
He is now at Alabama, whereas he was at Southern Cal.
He was loved by many at Southern California for a long time, and then they canned him.
Well, and then Tennessee.
But it serves him right.
Okay, Georgia plays North Carolina. These are marquee matchups. Instead of the SEC playing patsies on that first weekend, except for Tennessee was supposed to play the patsy, 21-point favorites. But anyway, LSU.
Tell me your picks. Who do you pick between Georgia and North Carolina?
Georgia.
Who do you pick between Alabama and USC?
I'll pick Alabama, the #1 team in the country.
Of course.
LSU, Wisconsin.
Who do you pick?
LSU.
I'm for LSU.
Ole Miss, Florida State.
Ole Miss.
I believe I'll go with Ole Miss. I really do. They don't play the Monday night, do they?
Oh, we'll have to watch that one.
And Auburn, Clemson. I believe Clemson will win.
Well, now Clemson probably they call that one the Battle of the Tigers.
Right, Clemson Tigers and Auburn. Well, now Auburn has more than one. They're the Auburn War Eagles, they're the Plainsmen, and they're the Auburn Tigers. That's the only team that I know in college ball that has 3 different monikers they use for mascots. Texas.
I know that was a good trivia question.
Texas A&M, another one of the SEC biggies. They're playing UCLA. That's big matchups.
You said Texas A&M and UCLA?
Yeah. I remember one time we played UCLA. I got to see the game.
That would be a tough pick there. It's still the preseason. I haven't seen enough about either team to really.
Well, you're not seeing either team play anywhere, but most of the
Who's
time.
Who's favored? Let's put it that way. Who's favored?
I haven't seen that yet, but I would think that Texas A&M being in the SEC would be my favorite.
Well,
the only one I'm not going with.
We'll pick them.
The only one I'm not going with is Auburn. I have to go with Clemson.
Clemson will win that. Well, what we'll do next week, we'll see if we got these right.
Ah, very good.
We'll see how good we are at picking winners out.
All right, that sounds good enough to me. But now last night
was a disaster. Tennessee did win, but they didn't deserve to win. They played terrible, and all this hype about winning the SEC championship and the national championship, it's not going to happen unless they play 20 times better, 50 times better than they did last night.
Well, they did not play an SEC caliber team last night.
They did not.
Appalachian State has not been in this league, but except about maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
They've been playing in that other division.
They're like UTC. They're a school the size of UTC.
But now
they did upset Michigan a couple years ago.
They did.
So they're no joke. You can't take them lightly.
I think we did.
But Tennessee shouldn't have took them lightly. That Michigan game should have been a red flag for Tennessee, and they should have realized we can't take them lightly.
I think what happened, it was not what, it wasn't about Appalachian State. I believe that Tennessee and their players read their own plaudits in the newspaper too much. They thought we're ranked number 9 and we've got a 21-point favorite here. Well, we won't have any problem with them.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Well, let's just put it this way. We hope that's what happened, or they're really overrated and we're not going to be nearly as good as we thought.
Well, we won't be ranked number 9 next week.
No, and don't deserve to be.
No. But now UTC, let me just minutely mention, 66-0 over Shorter. UTC, they've stamped themselves as a favorite in their conference.
Yeah, definitely. And didn't UTC make the playoffs last year?
Yeah.
That's good. In Division 2, I guess they are, whatever it's called, they do a playoff format.
Right.
They've done that for years.
Right.
And that was the first time UTC had made the playoffs in several years, actually. And I guess they're going to be good again this year.
They're going to be good. They're going to be good. But now back to this Tennessee, whatever you call it.
Dilemma here.
This team 120 out of Knoxville. They look bad. They look sad. Well, a lot of that has to do with how good Appalachian State was. I don't think they expected those athletes to step out on that field and compete with the attitude they did.
They didn't.
Appalachian State.
Dwayne Corbin put on Facebook a picture of Appalachian State's kicker and said thank you to him, like he saved the day. And that's true. That guy missed a field goal, and really that's what kept Tennessee in the ball game.
No, it wasn't the field goal.
No, but that was part of it. He missed.
What helped Tennessee out was the kickers. Our kicker kicked 2 field goals and 2 extra points. That's 8 points.
Yeah.
From the toe of Aaron Medley. Their kicker kicked 1 extra point after 1 touchdown. That was it. He missed the other extra point. He missed the extra point over the second touchdown. That would have ended the game right there. It would have been 14-13.
That's what Dwayne Corbin was meaning to say on that.
The field goal was immaterial.
Yeah, it was the extra points what he was meaning to tell me then. And he put it on Facebook with a picture of that guy, saying thank you. You saved the day.
Well, that was his first field goal attempt in his life.
Oh, and Neyland Stadium of all places. He
most hostile environment you could ever be in.
Yeah.
And there it was his first time to try to kick a field goal.
But the point is, Tennessee completely got bailed out last night. They really didn't deserve to win, but they did win, and that's all that matters, I guess, at the end of the day. But they've got to improve, or it's going to be a really long season.
Well, you're better off to be 1-0 instead of 0-1.
Yeah, can you imagine if they had lost to Appy State?
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be running Butch Jones out of Tennessee right now.
No, they'd have a van parked in front of his house tomorrow. They wouldn't run the ball.
They'd be moving him.
You might say we were lucky, but those of you that don't believe in luck, we were fortunate. Because
definitely.
We didn't win. That other team lost.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve to win the game. But now, stat-wise, we had we competed with them offensively. We had 319 yards. They only had 292, which is a little bit. Their yards per carry was 4.4 yards per carry on offense. Our stats on offense were 4.4 yards per carry. That's pitiful.
Yes, it is.
That's pitiful. You're talking about well, we had 2 turnovers. We had 6 penalties. On third down, we outdid them. We had 7 out of 16. They only had 3 out of 13. The time of possession, we only had the ball 26 minutes. They had the ball 33 minutes. That shows you they controlled the game. Dobbs was 16 out of 29 on passes. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Not a good game by the star of the game, supposedly.
He's supposed to be
the one.
Mr. All SEC this year. He's got to step up and do better than that.
He wound up with -4 yards on the ground. -4 yards.
That's bad.
He had one fumble. And then Sutton, I guess, set the tone. The first punt they punted, he fumbled that.
Yeah.
And then they scored right there.
Yeah, that does set the tone a lot of times for a ball game.
Yeah. First
it didn't
time.
get much better, did it?
No, and Jalen Hurd. Jalen
Hurd saved the day at the end.
He touched the ball 28 times to carry it, and he got 110 yards.
Yeah.
But he touched the ball in overtime when Dobbs fumbled it.
Yeah.
And that was his best touch of the night.
Yeah, so he did at least redeem himself on that.
He carried the ball 28 times for 110 yards. Beating, that's less than 4 yards per carry.
Yeah, that's not good
that won't work
stats
in the
at all
SEC.
for him. No,
It will not work.
Now we did have a UT schedule up here. I'll have to find it, but I know we play Virginia Tech next, September the 10th. So I guess next Saturday in Bristol, Tennessee. How do you think that one's going to go?
Well, I'm saying that Tennessee got the bad one out of their system.
I do
They've
too.
got a little longer time to prepare for this one since we had a Thursday night game.
It's a wake-up call.
Well, of course, another factor that we haven't even talked about. Reeves Maben got thrown out of the game early in the game.
Oh.
That hurt Tennessee.
Yeah, that did. I didn't even think about that.
That hurt Tennessee.
Yeah, it did.
With him being gone, he's the leading tackler for the whole season last year, and then he's out of the game. But not only this game, he'll miss the next game too.
Oh, he will.
Because of the head-on.
So he's going to miss.
That's targeting is what that's called.
Yeah, it is.
They expelled him from this game.
And next.
Yeah.
So he'll miss Virginia Tech and be back for Florida.
Right.
Okay.
Coach Jones said, on a night when anything and everything went wrong, we found a way to win. So he was satisfied in having a win instead of a loss. But nonetheless, we've got nothing to crow about.
Well, I'm glad he said that.
Star of the game. Who do you think was the star of the game?
Somebody for Appy State.
No, they lost.
I would say Jalen Hurd just because of the play he made at the end. I mean,
okay, he saved the game in that he recovered the fumble.
Yeah.
What Dobbs was trying to do was break the plane by stretching the ball out over the imaginary goal line.
Yeah.
And when he did that, he dropped the ball. But instead of it being recovered by Appalachian State, Mr. Jalen Hurd saw it and made a beeliner for it and got it.
He did. He hustled.
But I go back to our kicker. I believe our kicker was the star of the game. He made the 2 field goals he attempted. He made the extra point on both touchdowns.
He did outkick their kicker.
He outkicked their kicker. And his 8 points, man alive, that's tremendous.
It is.
Well, the highlight of the game, to my opinion, was the pass that Dobbs did unload downfield to Josh Ballone that covered 67 yards. That's Tennessee football. That's something that's seriously lacking in our attack is the downfield pass.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just unheard of, the lack of a passing attack that we lack. Okay, now where was Alvin Kamara? The running tandem of Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara. It was a no-show. He touched the ball 6 times and got 21 yards.
Didn't do much of anything.
Well, that's an average of 3 yards a carry. Jalen Hurd averaged over 3 yards a carry, less than 4. Alvin Kamara, these are touted by your writers in sports papers as being 2 of the best running backs in the country.
Jalen Hurd was one of the top running backs in the whole country in high school.
But I'm saying this year, we're supposed to have one of the most feared backfields in all of football.
That's true, Papa.
Of course, Georgia's not going to be in bad shape with Nick Chubb back. LSU's not going to be
really good.
LSU's not going to be hurting.
Oh, he's back too.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, what we played last night was not an SEC team. Had we played an SEC team and had we played like we played last night, we would have been stomped. Not just won by...
Oh, they'd have had their guts stomped out last night by any SEC team. It could have been Vanderbilt. They played like that, Vandy would have stomped them.
Well, now Vandy had
Kentucky.
that game won last night. I didn't mention that. They were playing South Carolina last night. There's another one of your opening games. Two teams in the Southeastern Conference playing each other. Vandy was ahead by 10-0 most of the game, but South Carolina wound up pulling it out.
Who did?
South Carolina won over at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. But now, I thought that's what you said, but South Carolina is a little bit down now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Since Spurrier left.
Last year was a bad... Okay, let me go back to the pass between Dobbs and Josh Malone. That pass covered 67 yards. We had... Dobbs completed 16 passes. The other 15 passes that he completed, after you take off the 67 yards for that one, those other 15 passes only covered 125 yards. That's an average of pass completion of 8.3 yards a catch. That's ridiculous.
That is.
You might as well just run the ball every time.
Yeah.
If all you're going to gain is 8 yards a pass.
That is no passing attack at all.
I'm glad we won. I would not have wanted us to lose.
I'm glad we won too, but it is alarming, and I was afraid this may happen. They might be overconfident, or I'm thinking they could even be overrated. I hope that's not what it is. Well, I don't think they're overrated, but you just never know, folks.
Well, there's two questions. How many will we win?
Yeah.
How good or how bad are we? That's something that's going to have to be proven in the next few games.
Well, they'll be answered in the next couple of weeks, that's for sure.
But again, let me say this. A lot of what happened last night has to do with Appy State, not Tennessee.
Well, that's true.
They were better than we thought they were. They were played better, they had better athletes, and they were coached better than we did.
They were.
They had the edge on us in every facet of the game, except their kicker could not keep up with our kicker. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Kicking, it all come down to kicking in the long run.
Well,
lucky for us, they had a young kicker who was nervous, and it worked in our favor.
What Appy State did last night, they just about sent over 100,000 fans home to have a nightmare.
You got that right.
Instead of being able to go home and lay down in their bed and breathe a prayer of thank you to God for the win.
That's right.
And you got all these fans out here in Ball Country. Or May asked me one time, said, "Albert, where is Ball Country?" I said, "Or May, we're in it, honey."
We're in it.
But there are millions of fans around the country. Tennesseans displaced here and there and voluntarily placed wherever they are, but there are millions of
big
people.
orange fever. That's right.
And all those had a good night's sleep because of the final score being 20-13.
Yeah, it's hard to watch games like that.
Had to go in overtime to do it, but we did it.
Makes you nervous, but it does make you feel good when they do win those close games.
Yeah.
But they're nerve-wracking to watch, so aren't they?
Well, I stayed with it till it's over.
Yeah. Did you listen to us yesterday, Eddie, with the trivia questions that Cindy did during the Top 10 Countdown?
No.
You got to start listening at 2 o'clock on Thursdays because you'd appreciate it. And it's things that you would know. It was more local trivia. It made me think of you. Like one of the questions was, when was the old hospital here? And then it was, where was the old hospital's location, which was the Ross House, you know, over here. The Ross House used to be a hospital, folks, if you didn't know that.
That's where my baby brother was born.
Okay, so Steve
was born in 1945, right down there.
And she asked who the doctor was during that time, and it was Dr. Greer was one of them anyway.
Well, Dr. Greer was the first doctor I remember.
Yeah.
Dr. Greer delivered over 2,000 babies.
Whoa. That's a lot.
Of course, before
But it was interesting to hear that. It made me think of you.
Back in that day, back a long time, when I was born,
Yeah.
you had midwives that did the delivery.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Midwives.
That's crazy.
That's right. And in the Bible, when the children of Israel were down in Egypt,
Yeah.
they had 2 midwives, and the Egyptians ordered those midwives to kill all the babies, all the boy babies, because the Egyptians didn't like the idea of these Israelites getting so plentiful, so they wanted them to kill them. And their names were Shiphrah and Puah. That was the 2. I'm not kidding, Billy.
I know, that's what a name.
Ziphrah and Puah. And they said, and they didn't stop all these births, you know, and so they told the Egyptians, well, these Israelite women they're so young and lively, they get up and after they have that baby, they're already gone. So the babies kept on coming.
Well, no way to stop it, were they? That's pretty good.
That was the time of Moses. Moses comes on the scene.
I'm going to see if you know this question. Something about this was given to me by some people. Sometimes people give me trivia questions. It says, our Constitution was drafted in 1787. A woman asked this man what the founders had given the American people, and he responded, a republic, if you can. Oh, I don't, man, it says a republic if you can something is, I can't read that writing. It says, who was he? But the answer is Ben Franklin. What did he say? Apparently this must be one of his famous quotes. But unfortunately, I can't read that one word there unless it's help is. If you can help is. He said a republic if you can help is. Who was he? But anyway, it was Ben Franklin, so.
He was one of them.
We got people putting their thinking caps on, you know. This was a Constitution question. What president said, without God there is no virtue because there's no prompting of the conscience? Does that give you any? Without God we're mired in the material. Still don't know. Ronald Reagan. He said it in August of 1984.
I remember him.
Yep. He said it at a prayer breakfast in Dallas, Texas in August of 1984.
84. I was a lot younger back then.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you, there's a lot of trivia questions that would be interesting to have on here, but I felt like it'd be better to have sports trivia. But boy, you opened up.
I think we need to do a different theme. Like each month, 1 week do sports, and then 1 week pick 3 more and keep rotating it each week. I think that's what we should do.
I just finished reading Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. I remember the movie. Gregory Peck played he was Atticus Finch in the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who Scout was. But it wouldn't matter, just a kid back then.
Yeah.
But that incident,
I've seen that movie.
or that time frame was the year I was born.
Oh, really? To Kill a Mockingbird?
That theme and everything that took place, it was over a period of not just 1 year, but I'm saying there was one time frame mentioned there in 1935, and that was the year I was born. So
okay.
I did pick up the second one.
The second one?
Harper Lee wrote another one.
That's right. That's right. We talked about that one day on here.
Go Set a Watchman is the name of the second one.
Have you read any of it yet?
No, I just got it yesterday.
You'll have to let me know and the listeners know if it's good or not.
Well, let me ask you this. If you've not read the book, though, or if you've not seen the movie, you wouldn't be in a position to answer. But one of the culprits in the storyline is Bob Ewell. I'm not going to tell you what all he does, but he winds up being killed.
Bob Newell?
Ewell. He's trying to harm Atticus Finch's children, Jim, which is short for Jeremiah.
He's a bad guy.
Jeremy. Huh?
So he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Scout, her real name is Jean Louise. That'd be good trivia questions.
That would be.
They call it, but Joyce Bounds knew who Scout Finch was. Scout Finch, by the way, Billy, is one of those 100 things that the museum in Washington, D.C. was wanting to pick out that would be purely American. And they had 137,000 entries, and they picked out 100 out of those 137,000. And Scout Finch was one of the things that were purely American. A little girl,
that is
7 or 8, 9 years old. But the way she tells this story, it's something else. And Joyce Bounds knew her.
I remember that. I remember you asking her.
She sure did.
But Joyce was very intelligent. She was smart.
Very intelligent. She could carry on a conversation with me and took me places I never had been. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of literature.
Yeah.
The literature can take you places you've never been.
That's right, Papa. And I miss the conversations with her.
I bet your life was enriched because of her.
It was. I miss her a lot.
One thing that I wanted to say today, a couple of kids, I told you about the seniors having the quotes.
What?
The senior quotes for the annual, I told you.
Yeah.
And that one I told you that I felt like was a good thing to say.
Yeah, you saying a little bit about, you touched on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah. As you go through life, relationships are very important, and they enrich your life. So be a friend.
Right.
Your life will be enriched.
Right. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Those kids were trying to come up with a quote that they could put in their annual, Over the years since I've been down there as a monitor, I've had several kids ask me for something that they could put in the annual.
I don't blame them. They know that you would be good at that. And you probably helped out several.
Well, I don't know I don't know how many of them ever got in there.